Okay. Fine. In today's session, we'll see with the for loop. In the previous session, we saw with the while loop. So while loop, we saw it was a condition-based loop. So that means the loop was being iterated based on a certain given number of condition. So now, when I talk about a for loop, so for loop is a loop which is used for executing a, a set of statement or a single statement or a group of statements for a predetermined number of times. So that means before executing the statement itself, you know, I want to execute this statement for these many number of times. It might be 5 times or 20 times or 100 times or 500 times. You already know I say I would execute the statement for a specific number of times. So that is where mainly we use this particular for loop. And I also say this is one of the simplest loop where you don't have to keep declaring the condition and the increment or the decrementation and all these things. You don't have to take care of those particular things. So that will be done automatically. So now, how do we write the for loop? So if you want to write a for loop in Python, so we write it like this: for will be followed with a what is say the counter variable. So variable to keep a track, like how many iterations have happened. I can just use any variable. So generally for the counter we use I. Fine. I'll just say for I in. Now suppose I want, see, mainly we use the for loop is mainly used for iterating in a collections. Okay, in the range of data. So here we have a built-in function called as range. Okay, so this particular range will do what is a range? A range is nothing but a group of values. I can just define a group. So if I say range of a value, say 10. So what this will do is this will create a range of 10 values, which will have a value which is starting from 0 to 10 minus 1. Okay, it is similar to the array indexes what we use in any language. Okay, so even when you go to the list in Python, so array index starts from 0. So if you have a list of values, say 5 values, so if the indexing will be given as 0 1 2 3 4. Okay, so it's something like this. So when I just say here as 5, so what will happen? It will have the value as 0 1 2 3 4. That means totally it will have a range of 5 values, but the values will start from 0 to n minus 1. Now, I want to read this individual value. So as I said, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to read that and I want to display. So what will I do? I'll just say, okay, so as I said, like, when you want to write the block of statement, so for any loop, so it has to be indented. So as soon as you press enter, you can see it is given to the tab space. So I'll just say print. What is that I want to print here? So I just want to print as I. So let us print the value of I. And if I try to run this particular code, so you can see it is telling us 0 1 2 3 4. So the rest of the code is like from the other this one. Now say example, I want to repeat my name for 5 times. So what will I do? I'll just say here, okay, instead of printing I, so I just say I want to repeat my name. So I say my name is say Muhammad Sadiq. Okay, so I've just written this particular name. So if I run this particular thing, you can see it says Muhammad Sadiq, Muhammad Sadiq, Muhammad. That means I wanted this particular loop to execute 5 times, and every 5 times, every time I just wanted to display my name. So it is just displaying this particular name. But I just want to have a counter next to that, so we can just say, okay, fine. So I can just say, um, comma I. So that means the value of I will be shown. So it will be 0 1 2 3 4. It is not going to be 1 2 3 4 5. Clear?
Here, sir.
Yeah. Now, what I want is, I want this particular iteration to go from, it has to have 5 iteration, but it has to start from 1. I want the counter iteration that is to start from 1, but it has to go to 5. So in that case, so let me write a loop again. I'll just say for the I in range of. So see, if I want to give your own custom start, you have this option. So you can see here, it takes the different parameters. We have a start index, stop index, and even the step. So we'll talk about the step. So now if I'm giving only one parameter, that means we have just told number of iteration it has to happen. But if I want to give the start and end, I can, and the iteration, it starts from 0. I just given as 1 comma 5. Now in this case, what will happen? Now the index value of I will start from 1 and it will go to 5 minus 1. Okay, so it will exclude the last value. Okay, that means it will exclude the end value. Okay, or it goes till n minus 1. So when I give like this, so you can see here it will print as, if I just say print See, I just want to say Sadiq, and I just say the value of one. Okay, so let me comment this. Yeah, so you can see. Okay, see what is happening here. One, it should be high. Additional code there. Yeah, so you can see since I've given start from one, go till five, but it will go till five minus one. It will not go till five. Now I say no, I want to go from one to five. So I want to have five iterations. So if I'm not giving this, it will start from zero. That is fine. But I say I don't want the counter like from index 0, 1, 2, 3. I want the counter to start from 1, but it has to go till 5. So in that case, what will I do? I can just say 5 plus 1. Okay, so it will be going till 5. Or you can even say 5 plus 1, or you can just say, what is 5 plus 1? 6. That means we can give an expression there. So expression will be evaluated, and after that output, what is generated based on that, the loops are being created. So when I say 1 comma 5, so that means this range is starting from 1 and it is going to 6 minus 1. So you can see here the output is, so it says Sadiq 1 2 3 4 5. So this is how we got the 5 iterations. Clear? So that means if I'm giving only one parameter, so we have told number of iterations you want, and here always the start will be going from 0. So when you're reading in the list arrays, okay, so I can say this is the best thing. But I say I want to have a custom start. Okay, so you can give your own start and you can give your own end. Is fine. Okay, so in that case, we pass two parameters. As soon as I pass two parameters, so the first parameter will be taken as a start, and the second parameter will be taken as the end. Now, what I want here is, say, I want this to go from 1 to 6, but I see it has to increment with plus 2. So I want to skip in even values here. So I want to jump. So from 1 to 3, 3 to 5, I want to jump. So in this case, so what can I do is I can use something called as a step. Okay, step is the increment you wanted, comma. The third parameter we can provide. The third parameter you can see it is taking the step value. So I say step 2. So that means it will increment with plus 2. So when it is going, so let me comment this code. And when I run this, you can see here. So it is starting from 1, but is incrementing with plus 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5. So 5 plus 2 is 7. So it can go only till 5. Okay. Fine. I want to print the even. What I can do, I can just say 0. So it will start from 0. 0 plus 2, 4. 4 plus 2 is 0 plus 2, plus 2 is 2, plus 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6, but it will go only till 5. It will not go till 6. So that is the reason it is stopping, okay, at 4 itself. Because when I say 0 to 6, it will go only till 5. It will not go till 6. So increment of 2, it is stopping, okay, at the last maximum, what is say, steps that it can go. Fine. So this is about, okay, so that means what you understand from this is the range method has an overloaded number of parameters. So it can take one parameter. So it can take one parameter, it can take two parameters, it can also take three parameters. So if I provide one parameter, that means we are telling that number of iterations you want to do with the default start index. When I say two parameters, that means we have told where it has to start and where it has to end. You're giving your own custom start and the custom end. So always end is going to be n minus 1, n minus 1. Now, when you give three parameters, that means you have given your own start and we have given an end. And also we are telling that how you want this particular numbers to be incremented. So we use this particular I plus equals 2 or something. No, I want to increment with 2. We just increment the value of I with plus 2, plus 3 or something similar to that. But everything we are just defined as in the ready-made function. In this function, this has overloaded. So we can either pass it to 1 or 2 or 3 parameters. Like say example, I want to have 10, 20, 30. So in that case, what can I do? I just say for I in range of, so I want to start from 10, and I want to start from 10, and I'll just say it has to go till 101, because if it has to go till 100, so we'll go 100 plus 1. And I want to have an increment with plus 10. So now when I print this I, so now you can see here, this will go as 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 till 100. So if I go 100 here, so that means 100 cannot be generated. So it is always the n minus 1. So it will go only till 90. So 90 plus 10 is 100. No? So 90 is the highest number what it can be generated. So you can see in this case, you will get only till 90. Okay. So in the examination point of view, they will be twisting with this particular thing. So you should be very clear on this. Okay. So how long the iterations will happen. So always when you just say n, so whatever the n number is there, minus 1. Okay. Now this is fine. Now what I want is, I want to have a reverse number. I want to generate the numbers in reverse. So basically, in the case of the while loop, if I have to generate a reverse number, what is that I need to do? The initialization variable, which I had initialized to 1, so that will change to what? Instead of 1, so it will become, we have to change it to 10, of maximum number. And then the condition, okay, logical condition we need to change, and the increment has to be changed to decrement. So that is the three modifications I need to do. But here, nothing like that. So what is that we do? So let us say I want to print from 100 to 10 in the reverse this one. So we have written all this thing. Okay. Now you want to reverse this particular number. So what will I do is, so I will use the same logic. Everything will be the same, but I have another function here called as reverse. So this, I will put it in the reverse. I'll just say a reverse of this. See, as soon as I put reverse of this, so you can see what has happened. So it has become as 10, 100, 90s, 80, 70. Cool. It's so easy. You want to have a reverse of number from 1 to 10. So how should I write it? So I just say for I in range of say 1 to 10 is going to be 11. So that's it. You don't have to be worried about any this one. I just say print I, but okay, same logic, but you'll put this reverse before the range. Reversed. So put this range inside the reverse. Is that easy? Clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it is that easy. So you want to print. Now, see here, what is happening is the numbers are printed one below the other. Okay. Now I want to print side by side 10, 9, 8. So see the numbers by default, it is printing like this. Clear? Now instead of this, I want to print like this. Okay, so that means I want as 10, then space 9, space 8, space 7, space 6. What should I do in this case? See, what happens here in Python is Python's print statement. When you call this particular print, it will print the value and the cursor will be shifted to the new line. So again, when you call the print, the new data will be printed always in the new line. Something like in Java, we have something print and println, or in if you're from the C# programmer, so we have system dot out dot what to say, system dot console dot write line, and we have system dot console dot write. Write line, what it does is it writes a line of text and the cursor will be pointing in the new row. So if my cursor to be written there, we use a write method. The same way, when you use a print, print is equivalent to a write line or a print ln in Java and all this thing. So that means it writes the content and the cursor will be shifted to the new line. So now I say no. After writing, I don't want the cursor to be shifted to the new line. I want to retain there itself. In that case, you can define how you want the print to be ending it. So for that, we have another parameter here called as end. Okay, is equal to, you can just say, I by default, end is going to be like a slash. It's a new line. I say, no, I don't want a new line. I just want a space. So that means after printing I, so the cursor will not go to the new line. So we are telling the custom end. Okay. So we are customizing how the print has to be after printing the content. So the cursor will be retained there itself with an additional space. So now when I run this, so you can see here, so you're getting this particular output, something like this. So we just say 10N, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So side by side, it is able to print. Or you want to have a comma as a separator. So I can just say comma. Good. So here we are customizing your print, how your print has to be. Okay, we are just telling after printing this I, let the cursor be there itself. Okay, fine. Clear?
Clear, sir.
Fine. So now the next thing here is what I want. Okay, this is about writing the loop to generate with the numbers and things. Now I can also use a break and the continue statement, even with the for loop, how we saw with the while loop. So using a break and continue. So we can also use this in the for loop. So let us see how to use a break and how to use a continue in this. Now, what is a break? A break is like, you have given a loop, you have given a start and end, but you want to stop in between. So I don't want to go till the end. Okay, before the end, you want to stop the loop. So in that particular situation, so I'll be using it. I'll be using a break. So let me generate a number. I just say for I in range of say 10. So I want to generate from numbers from 1 to 10. Okay, so when I just say print of I, so we know this particular thing will just say 0, 1, 2, 3. It goes till 9. Fine. Now, if the value of I is matching to 5, I want to stop. If the value of I is matching to 5, I want to stop. Or like might be like, if I find a prime number, I want to stop. So I need to write a logic to find whether a number is a prime, and as soon as it's a prime number, I want to stop. Okay, something like that. So now I'll not go with that particular logic. Later we'll talk about the how do you find the prime numbers and all these things. I just want to stop, okay, on a certain given condition. If the value of I is matching to 5, I just want to stop. So what will I do is I just say if, because it is iterating for, that means um, this range has a range of values starting from 0 through 9. And when I say this, it is picking one values. First it will be 0, 1, 2, 3. So first it will pick 0. So that is how picking happens. First it will take 0, then it will take 1, then it will take 2, then it will take 3, then it will take 4, then it will take 5. So it keeps taking the values and then it is printing. So now after printing, I'll just say if the value of I is equal to 5, okay, if the value of I is matching to 5, then I say, okay, I need to stop there. Print. Um, Sorry, I don't want to print, I just want to break. So now you can see here what happens. If the value of I is matching to 5, it breaks the program. Okay, so break is you are forcefully stopping the loop before the actual end. You are explicitly giving the stop to it. So this is where we use the break. Now, yeah. Now what I want to do is we'll take an example of continue. So what is the continue? See, break is to it terminates the loop. But when I say continue, if there is any statement after the break, after the continue, those statements will be skipped, but the loop will continue. Okay. Now let us take an example. I'm printing this particular I after checking the condition. And you can see here, this print statement I have given with the one indentation. That means the print statement is for the for. See, if I want to write the print statement for the if, so if I give it something like this becomes a print for the if. But if I write it over here, it is going to be a print for. So now I say this print is for the for loop, it has to print. Okay. Now, every time the value of I is going to be 1, 2, 3, 0. 0 is not matching to 5. It will not enter the loop, but it will print the value of I, 0. Second time, the value of I is going to be 1. So again, it will not enter the loop. Okay. Sorry, it will not enter the condition because 1 is not matching to 5. It will print 1, 2, 3, 4. So when it is 5, 5 is matching to 5, then it will break. Okay. Um, it will not print 5 here. So it will give it as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when I say continue, what continue will do is, okay, if the value of I is matching, then the print will be skipped, but the loop will continue. So, like you can see here, so value 5 is being skipped. So you can see there is no 5 here. Okay, it has been skipped. So that is when the value of I was matching to 5. So we have told, okay, continue. Continue means whatever the statement is there, okay, don't execute that, but the loop will keep continuing. The loop will go on, will not stop. Clear?
Clear, sir.
Okay. Now take an example. I want to skip all the multiples of threes. I want to skip all the multiples of threes. So that means 3, 6, 9 has to be skipped. So let me go from 1 to 11. Okay, 0 to 11 or whatever. So I want to skip all the multiples of 3. So in that case, what I will do, I'll just say if I mod 3. So every time the number is taken, we are trying to divide it with 3. And if the remainder is equal to 0, then continue. So that means if it is number is divisible by 3, don't print that number. So other than that, numbers will be printed. So you can see here. So we have 1, 2, okay, 3 is missing, 4, 5, 6 is missing, 7, 8, 9 is missing. So all the multiples of 3s are missing. So all the multiples of 3s or some specific values you want to skip. So we can use this particular loop. Clear? Fine.
Clear, sir.
Sure. So this is how we have done. So where we are trying to skip all those particular multiples of 3 or multiples of 5 or something you want to skip. Or I just say, no, I want to print multiples of 3. Okay. So I just say if it is not equal to 0, then continue. Okay. If it is matching to 0, then print. So this is going to be the reverse of that. So it will be only multiples of 3. That is when a number is divided by 3 and if the remainder is 0, so then it is going to be printed. Fine. So this can be done. Or take an example like, generally this is the kind of programs they ask, the simple programs. I want to I want to print only the even numbers. Okay, so one thing you can do is start with the even number and then step two, okay, it is going to be done. Or the other way to find an even number is, so I can divide a number with 2. If it is divisible, then it's an even number. If it is not divisible, then it is not an even number. So now what I will do here is, if I want to check that, I'll just say, I want to print an even number from say 1 to 20. I just say for I in range of say 1 to 21. So you'll print the even numbers from 1 to 20. So I need to go with plus 1. Fine. So I'll just comment this. I want to print the even numbers from 1 to 20. So it has to go iteration from 1 to 20. So I need to give n plus 1. Then before I could print, so I just want to check if the value of I mod 2. That means, so this will generate the value of I will be generated as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So every number will be divided with 2 and we are trying to check the remainder. So mod is going to check the remainder. If the remainder of that is matching to 0, so then I just need to say break. Or so break means it will skip if the reminder is equal to 0. So that means it is going to skip this one. No? So if the reminder is 1, then I say break. Okay. If not, break. And you can see. When I put an enter key, my cursor by default in the PyCharm, okay, it says it's going to be the new line for the same block. So if I write it here, so it will print only after breaking. No, no, I want to print for the for loop. So that means what I will do here, I'll just press an enter key and I'll use a backspace. So that means I'm using with this particular indentation. So which is the single tab for the for. So I'll just say here as print. This is very important how you give the indentation. So I have to print the value of I. I is a even number. I say break, it is going to break the program. No, I'll say I need to skip. I'll just say continue. So you can see, so it is iterating from 1 to 21. If you're trying to divide a number with 2, if the remainder is 1, skip those value. That means if the remainder is not 1, 0, then it is going to print. So first time the value of I is going to be 1. 1 mod 2. So how many times it is divisible? So 1 mod, it is not divisible. So 0 time, the remainder is 1. So it will say continue. It is skipped. The next time the value of I is going to be 2. 2 mod 2 is equal to 0. It is actually 2 mod 2 is 0. It is not equal to 1. So if it is 1, it is going to skip. So now it is not equal to 1. So that means the condition has failed. Since the condition has failed, it is printing this one. Okay. Now next, that is it is printing 2. Then the value of I is going to be 3. So 3 mod 2 is going to be, so it will be divided one time. Okay, a reminder is 1. Is it? When you divide 3 with 2, you'll get a reminder 1. If the reminder is 1, I say don't print the statements. Continue means don't print the statements. Skip the statements and go ahead. So next time the value of I will be incremented to 4. Now 4 mod 2 is equal to 1. No. So if it is no, that means the condition is not met. So the statement will be executed. So when 5, the condition is met, it is going to skip. 6 will be printed. So in that way, 2, 4, 6, 8 is been printed here. Okay. So this is how we print this thing. You want to print only the even numbers. So, or you can even just say, to make your logic simple, I just say not equal to 0. So if after dividing a number, if that number is not matching to 0, then continue. So if it is matching to 0, print. So that means first time the value of I mod 2 is remainder is 1. So not matching to 0, yes, it is going to continue. It is going to skip. Then it is 2. 2 mod 2 is matching to 0. Okay, so not equal to 0 I have given. So it will print this. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. So this is like how we are skipping. So now what we'll do is let us see how do we use this particular loop in a collection. That is, we'll try to use a list and try to find iterate the values in the list. So now let us take an example of a list of numbers. Okay, here it was a predefined range. So it is 0, 1, 2, 3. Now I say I just have my own custom numbers. Okay, I just say nums. Is equal to, when I just use this, it is a list. So let me have some numbers here. So 56, I'm just randomly giving some numbers here. Okay, I just have the numbers. Now what I want to do is, I want to use a loop which is going to iterate for all the numbers what is there in the list. So if I have to know this, so first thing is I need to know how many values are there. So for that we use a len function if you're using a while loop. And then we need to start from 0 index, because the first value will be index 0, second value will be indexed 1, 2, 3, 4, and we need to increment. That is what we do in the while loop. So in the for loop, you don't have to do anything, since this is a collection. So I can just use it like this. I can just say for, okay, so any variable name. So I just say I want to read the num from the nums in nums. So now nums is a collection. So instead of range, I am just defining this particular collection here. That is the nums. Okay. So again, nums is what? Nums is a group of values. In the case of range, it was generating a sequence of values. But in this one, so it has some group of custom values, whatever the user has entered. Now, I want to read the individual. So here I just say for num in nums. So nums is a collection. From this, it is going to read the individual. So first it will read the first value 56. So then it will read the second value, that is 34. Then third, next it'll read the value, the third value, that is 78. Then it'll read, say, the fourth value. So that is going to be 23. So it will be reading something like this. So then it will read the fifth value. So that is going to be 51. So that means one by one value will be read into this particular num. And then I'll just print this num. So when I run this particular code, so you can see it will print all those particular values, whatever is read is being displayed here. Is that easy to print? So I just said for, okay, a variable in the collection, that is the num is a list now. So it will read the individual value from there and will print. And you can see you don't have to define the start, you don't have to define the end, you don't have to define the increment or anything. So the for loop will take care of it automatically. Automatically, it has read the last element. After that, there is no more element to read. It will automatically stop. Will not have that array index, out of bound error, nothing will be there. Yeah, because you're not manually doing it. It's been done automatically. Fine. Is that simple? Now take an example from this. I want to read only the even numbers. So what will I do? So the same this one. So when it is printing, before printing, I want to check whether the number is an even or not. I'll just say if num mod 2 is not equal to 0, then if it is not equal to 0, that means if it is odd number, skip that. So skip is continue. So now what it will do from this particular range, it'll take only the even numbers and it is going to print the even numbers. So if it you're dividing a number with 2 and if it is not equal to 0, if the remainder is non-zero, then we are telling it to skip. If the remainder is 0, we are telling it to print that number. That is this easy. Fine.
Fine, sir.
Okay. Now I say I want to iterate in a collection of say string data. Okay. Let me have another list here. I just say names is equal to, let me have some name here. So I'll just have my name itself. I just say Sadiq. I just say, I just say Sam, Ali or something. Um, I just have some names here in my list. Now what I want to do is I just want to iterate for this particular names. I want to read this particular names. So what I do, so since this name is a list here, so how many values are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, if I'm using this for loop, I don't have to do this counting. So I have to do this when I'm using a while loop. So how many values are there? Length function, we need to find out what is the length and all this thing. So here I can just write it simple. I just say for, I want to read the name from, okay, in from where it has to read from the names. So now names is a list. From there, I want to read an individual name. So name, and then I'll just say print name. So you can see names is the list here. So from this particular list, it is going to read the individual name and then it is going to print this. So you can see we have a Sadiq, we have a Sam, Ali, Usman, Saad, and Abdul. So all those particular names is being read here. Sure. Now I say I want to skip, say Sam, like some names I want to skip. Okay, so in that case, what we do, if the name is matching to a particular name. So what is that name? So it can be, say, I want to skip, say, Sam. So in this case, you can see it is going to is colon C. So, and I say continue. So that means I want to skip with Sam and I want to print rest all the names. So you can see if the name is matching to this, say continue. That means skip this name. Or I want to search whether Saad is there. Okay, so I'll just say, okay, so I have the name here. If the name is Saad is found, I'll just say break. I don't want to continue my loop. So as soon as I just was Sam. So as soon as Sam is there, so I don't want to go ahead and search. That means it will stop if the name is Saad. So that means I'll be able to read only this four names. Still Osman, Saad and Abdul will not be displayed here. So when the name is Saad, we are trying to say break. So okay, when it reaches to this, it will break. So that means all these names will be skipped. So this is how we can use this particular in the names collections. Fine. So we have seen with the for loop. So mainly we use the for loop as you want to execute some statements for predetermined number of times. So we have seen in the for loop, the first thing is we have this particular built-in method in the Python called as range. It will define a sequence of values which start from 0 to n minus 1, and then it just prints it. Yeah. So and then this range is overloaded method. You can pass it one parameter, you can pass it with two parameters, or you can pass with the three parameters. So if you pass it with one parameter, it just says like how many iterations you want, and the iteration sequence start from 0 to minus 1. Okay. So if I give okay the two parameters, it takes the start and the end. It starts at this point and ends with this minus 1. Okay. And if I want, I can even go with the step value, so and how you want this increments to be. And we also saw with reversed, what it does is okay, whatever this particular sequence was being generated, you just want to reverse. I don't have to do any kind of operations, no logical change or anything. Just surround this with the reverse, the whole value will be reversed and displayed. Okay. And we did also discuss with the break and the continue. Break is okay, you want to explicitly terminate the statements. Okay, in that case I can apply a condition. If the condition is met, you can use a break. So as soon as the compiler reads the break, so it stops this iteration at that stage. So before iteration is executed, after that no iterations will happen. It will stop the iterations. And I say continue, so that means it will skip the statements, but the what to say, the loop will be in the continuous. So we can do this even with a list. Okay, list of values. Okay, it is just like just say for num in the list. So it'll read the individual value from there, and we are trying to print. Again, within that, I want to find only the even numbers or odd numbers or multiples of some things you want to skip or continue. We can just do those particular things. We did even see with how do we read this particular names. Now, the other thing here, what I want to do is I want to read these names in the reverse order. Like I want to read Abdul first and Saad and things. So in that case, so what will I do? I'll just use the same thing. So I'll just say for name in names. Okay, this is going to read the individual names, and I say print names. Sorry, name. So this is going to print all the names. Fine, but I want to print the names LIFO concept, last in first out. So I don't have to do anything. I just say reverse. So I'll just put this method in the reverse, and you can see here this will be just reversed. So you can see the last name is coming first. Sorry. So the last name is coming first, then the second last Saad, then it is Usman, and then it is Ali, then it is Sam, and then it is Sadiq in the last. Okay, the first value is gone in the end. So I did not change any kind of a logic. So in the other programs, you need to you want to go the same thing in the reverse order. So your complete logic has to be changed and all those things. Here nothing, the same thing, but we have just added an additional functions here called as reverse. It is just reversing the same. Okay. So this is the beauty of this particular for loop. So it's very simple, very easy. Okay, and handling with this particular list or tuples, that is the iterable objects, even with the dictionaries, it becomes very easy when you go with the list. Okay, so we'll go more into details of the for loop. So next section we'll see about how do we go with the nested for loop. And apart from that, we also did see like about how do we end so things. So end is like you want to continue in the same line. So we even saw with the end. Okay, so we'll just conclude it over here.